Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video where today we return with round 13 of our F222 Teo Porcher career mode. Yes, this weekend we're back at the Temple of Speed, the penultimate weekend of this campaign. We are back in Monza, of course, where Felipe Drugovich was crowned real-life F222 World Champion. We could be crowned champion today. Of course, a slightly alternative narrative here, racing as Teo Porcher. It's pretty simple. All we have to do today is make sure that we outscore outscore Felipe Drugovich by one solitary point. Yes, that'll give us a 64-point lead as we head into the feature race tomorrow. There's only 64 points available left in the campaign, so technically it's got to be 2 points, but 1 or 2 points will make the difference. Of course, that would also therefore require Drugovich to go absolutely perfectly through the final 3 races of the campaign as well there, and I'm not 100% convinced Felipe Drugovich is going to do that. But I just want to say a massive thank you as well to all of you that have stuck around with the F2 career mode here on F122. You know, it hasn't been as popular as previous years, but I've had a lot of fun with it. It has been quite good fun racing with ART Grand Prix. But let's get into it though. Italian GP, of course, we've got one-shot qualifying in the sprint race today. The main event tomorrow. Fingers crossed we can try and crown ourselves F2 champion. Right, well here we are then, back at the Temple of Speed then for the Italian GP, and I've got to be honest, I do always find it a little bit weird that F2, you know, they do this penultimate race weekend of the year. You know, sometimes the championship hasn't been decided yet, and then you have to wait a good 2-3 months ready for the finale in Abu Dhabi. You know, I wouldn't mind if Formula 2 ran even and finished at the same point that Formula 3 does. But yeah, the Temple of Speed though here today, whack the setup onto the car. Fingers crossed going to have straight line speed, because that's pretty much all you want around this circuit. Is let's try and concentrate then. Of course, if we were to take pole here, it would put even more pressure on Felipe Drugovich. Through the final corner then. This has really not been a good lap to write home about. Out of the final turn, it's going to be P20 on the grid for this GP there. We must be about 2-3 tenths away from JN the Ruvala, but that's Formula 2 for you. And now the pressure is suddenly back on our shoulders. Well, JN the Ruvala on the pole here at Belgium, and Jack doing another consistent qualifying session from the Australian there. But Felipe Drugovich finds himself P8 then for the start of the, well, start P3 for the sprint race today. They're slower once more than his teammate Clement Novalak, but 4 tenths away from pole. Just like Drugovich last weekend, we find ourselves sat in P20 there. A nightmare start for ART. Of course, a quick reminder as well, we've got a 52-point lead in the Constructors' Championship, but yeah, if we want to outscore Felipe Drugovich here, we're going to need a miracle run through this sprint race, but miracles have happened before in F122. Can we get another one here at Monza?
Hello and welcome back to a classic circuit, familiar to fans the world over. This is Monza. You can hear the cars ready to go. Certainly the fans are ready for some action. We're all set. So let's get this Formula 2 race underway. Monza is one of the faster circuits in Formula 2, comprising some very long straights and tight chicanes. The engine spends so long at full throttle, in fact, that engine failures are not an uncommon sight here. On top of that, the 3.6 miles of track are pretty hard on the gearbox too. Turn 1 at Monza is famous, or should I say infamous, for serious contact and incidents, especially on the opening lap. What are your thoughts on that, Davide?
Yes, this chicane is a tricky one. A lot of time you see the more experienced drivers hold back from full throttle to keep themselves safe as everyone tries to squeeze into the racing line after the opening straight.
Right, well here we are then on the grid, ready for the penultimate sprint race of our F2 campaign. Only 11 laps around this circuit. You could probably, I mean it won't let you, but you could probably think about doing it on a set of the soft compound tyres here. We know, of course, Monza really, it can actually be quite difficult on all the tyres. Of course, you've got big heavy braking zones, a lot of traction zones as well. But yeah, just a quick reminder, I'm probably going to say it a lot today. Felipe Drugovich has to outscore us in this sprint race. He lines up P3, we're starting P20, so it's looking like that might be possible for Felipe, but crazier things have happened in this series. While lining up then on the grid, I think this is my second worst qualifying position of the year. Baku, of course, was the other one, and does look, if qualifying's anything to go by, like we're running quite a bit more wing than plenty of other cars as well. There, I think it was 10-12 that I'm rocking was going to be high, but it might give us a bit of an advantage as we head through Ascari and things like that. But of course, no time to wait there. Once we've lined up on the grid, it's practically everyone. 5 red lights here at Monza. And it's going to be lights out and away we go there, and try and be very careful to avoid wheel spin. It's actually been a pretty good getaway to go side by side with Enzo Fittipaldi on the run in towards turn 1. There are Wassa way down the order as well. There is Ollie Caldwell thinking about going for an aggressive move, and we might just try and follow him as we head through turn 1 there. The Campos driver, does Campos really have had a nightmare of a season? Ralph Bosch on one of 2 cars yet to score, but look at that, right place at the right time. 4 places gained off the start of this sprint race there, so couldn't have really asked for much better there, especially when it didn't feel like I'd gone overly aggressive in towards turn 1. As Yuma Wassa, you can't really do that. We'll get a warning for a collision there. We were incredibly lucky. There seems to be a bit of a bug with these F2 cars, that if you connect directly with the rear light of the car in front of you, if you connect with it at just the right angle, for some reason you don't get front wing damage. Damage is definitely on in this series, because I already can see the comments from that one. But yeah, it's a bit of an oversight by Codemasters there, as you can already see Jem Bolak-Bassi trying to look around the outside of us in towards the Ascari chicane. Yeah, it's a bit of an oversight from Codis, because I don't think they've updated the damage model on these cars since about F1 2018 or 19 when they first came in, and that game's damage model was actually pretty lenient. But yeah, up 4 places then on this opening lap, but big time loss to Caldwell through Ascari. Second half of the lap we really seem to struggle, but we've got to get our head down as Cannon Williams leads the way then at the end of lap 1 in his Trident. Just got to see if we could somehow get back inside the top 8 there, as you can already see cars at the road. Once again, drag racing back in towards turn 1. There's going to be a lot of 2x2 here. Whoa, still a lot of battling going on up the road there. So I think that was both you and I Virtuosi cars disputing P12, and a lot of Constantina and off the corner. Just pushes us into the back of Ollie Caldwell very, very slightly there. Yuma Owasa still looking very, very aggressive up the road, but yeah, we need to try and find a way past Caldwell as quickly as we possibly can there. Whoa! Still want to be careful of the curbing around the Temple of Speed. Of course, I'm used to doing this track now on iRacing a fair bit over the last few weeks, and yeah, you can certainly attack that second curve on that sim a whole lot more on F1 22, but yeah, got to try and get close to Ollie once again. Like I said, just the lack of straight line speed. You can see Jem Bolak-Bassi getting a very, very good run on us. Will force him to the outside in towards the Ascari chicane, and again, he'll just back out of it on the way in there, compromise my line. I won't be able to do much with it. Caldwell sparking away as we head back down towards turn 1, but look at that, 3 wide up the road now. As what on earth is that? Through the first corner, just so much liveliness from the rear of the car, but it already looks like the field's getting split into 2 groups. Just having a look on the mini-map, so maybe, I mean, this battle surely extends up towards the top 8, but can see Caldwell this time around looks for a move on Iwasa. We'll get a bit squeezed out there, and we're just not in the right place to be able to capitalise. Caldwell positions the car beautifully off the turn, and we still can't find a way around him. Getting a good run though this time around, and Ollie Caldwell as we head down in towards the Parabolica to the outside of the Campos driver, who again will just be able to cover us off there, and again horrendously slow off of the turn. Maybe Caldwell now has lost the DRS of the cars in front of him. Either way, surely we can try and get a run back in towards the first turn, but here comes Jem Bollock-Bassi as well there. Might make it 3 wide as we head in towards the first corner, and look at the speed from Jem as well there. 3 wide in towards turn 1, and it is the battle of the late breakers. Caldwell has been well and truly Riccardo zontered back down towards turn 1 there. He will defend actually from Jem Bollock-Bassi behind, but finally making more progress here. As of course the Temple of Speed, so many quick races. It looks like Callum Williams has got a big lead at the front, but yeah, the races just fly by around this venue. It's now trying to apply more pressure to Yuma Iwasa, but it looks like this battle pack honestly extends from P2 backwards. And I think the car that is in P2, yep, it's our big rival Felipe Drugovich. Are we going to be close enough to go for a send on Iwasa? 200 miles an hour. You can't do that, Ayumu. Again, somehow we've got lucky with the damage model, but you cannot move around like that in the braking zone of a Formula 2 race. I don't get how the FIA can deem that my fault. We make it quite clear where we're going, and he suddenly just wiggles around. Iwasa is crazy. Well, this might well be the closest Roy Nissany gets to points all year, as I can see even more battling going on just up the road. It is Nissany trying to go for a move on, I think, it's Marcus Armstrong there out of the final corner. Yuri Vips looking to try and make a move potentially on Marino Sato as well. As I mean, this is just drag racing as we head back down towards turn 1 here. Formula 2 is absolutely putting on a show today. Is everyone trying to get in the slipstream? They're almost 3 wide as we head in towards the first corner there. Jack Doohan going to be very, very early on the brakes, so we'll try and slow it down and get the move done on the UNI Virtuosi car. Looks like they're having a bit of a nightmare to the weekend as well, as we might get both UNI Virtuosis in one go here out of the first couple of turns there through Curva Grande. We're going to be side by side with Marino Sato. Looks like he's running slightly less wing than me. We'll try and force him on a defensive line there. Break late in towards the next chicane there. Yuri Vips will lose the place to Nissany as well, who's into the top 10. Of course, no points for 10th today, but Nissany still waiting, I'm pretty certain, for his first points of this campaign there. But now finally starting to get our confidence up, starting to get our elbows out late on in this F2 sprint race. It really has come alive after, you know, a bit of a slow burn through those first 4 or so laps. We've got 4 more laps after this one, as there's more battles going on just up the road. Yuri Vips, Roy Nissany, that got incredibly close for comfort down at the end of the back straight, and oh, nudge the curb there. Big slide as we try and put the power down out of Ascari. Are we now going to see Sato try and potentially capitalise on that one? We'll just have to sit a bit defensive there as Vips again goes for the big squeeze, as we've got someone trying to look up the inside. We've got contact through the final couple of corners there. I think both UNI Virtuosis were trying to go for something there. Jack Doohan, I think that was, made the move on his teammate Marino Sato and tried to get 2 for the price of 1. But we're now going to be under increasing pressure from the pair of them there. The number 3 right in our rearview mirror as we head back down in towards the first corner. Will Vips be able to go for a move on Roy Nissany? We get a big lock-up, and we've been tagged. We got just a small bit of contact there with Jack Doohan through turn 1 as we try and get ourselves back on the road, and it's all gone pear-shaped late on in the day here. We've still come out ahead of Jake Hughes and Logan Sargent, but just when I thought we were starting to make more progress here, it's all gone down the drain. Still battles going on though, almost 3 wide up the road as we head back down through Ascari once again, and that's going to allow us to get even closer once more to Jem Bollock-Bassi, who was early on in this campaign a bit of a championship threat. It's had quite a quiet year since then. As look on the mini-map, Callum Williams, Felipe Drugovich been able to break free, but the gap in front of me, Fred Vesti getting his elbows now out with a Yuma Iwasa there. Ollie Caldwell trying to capitalise, and our Gemini just going to be able to wait in the background and potentially try and make a move happen there. 3 laps to go. We haven't really got much to lose, so we may as well go for it late on in the day here at Monza. As you can see, Iwasa pulls one side of Fred Vesti. Caldwell's got to go the other. We've got yellow flags out. Bollock-Bassi moves over at the same time I tried to go for something. Someone's breaking down. What on earth is happening here at Monza? It reminds me, honestly, of that European F3 race a few years ago. Jack Doohan's broken down. He's been mecha-chromed as we're now going to get the timing of the century straight past Jem Bollock-Bassi. We might be able to make a move work on Iwasa as well there, off the corner. And like I said, this is reminding me of that FIA Euro F3 race where it ended up getting suspended because there was that much carnage. Luckily, we haven't had any retirements that weren't mechanical there, but poor Jack Doohan, of course, out of the championship fight last weekend. Just going to hamper any slim chances he had on jumping Drugovich for runners-up in the season. But yeah, back up then into P15. We've got about 7/10 up to Fred Vesti. Points are off the table now, but yeah, we'd love a little bit more. About to start the final lap then here from Monza. I mean, what a ridiculous race this one has ended up being, but we've still got a 5-car scrap for P11. It's not going to be for any points. As Felipe Drugovich there snatches fastest lap. Of course, it doesn't matter whether I go quicker than him if we don't finish inside the top 10, and honestly at the moment that's looking near impossible. As new fastest lap of the day into the 1-minute 30s. It looks like that Caldwell having a look on the move for Daruvala as Sato having to sit very, very defensive in towards the first corner. Are we just going to be patient? No, we're not. Round the outside of our teammate Fred Vesti there. How many times have we had contact with Ollie Caldwell's diffuser this afternoon? Is trying to put the power down at turn 1. Not going to gain anything in that moment, as now you can just see Sato got a little bit of breathing room from Daruvala, who's under increasing pressure from the Campos car behind him, side by side in towards the next chicane. And are we going to see Fred Vesti? Come on, Fred, get on with it. Going to basically do a touring car bump and run on my teammate Fred Vesti there off the turn. And like I said, I mean, it's not really going to affect much in the championship, but want to absolutely go for moves still late on in the day. As you can see, Daruvala, I think he's lost the DRS to Sato up the road. Daruvala has absolutely fallen back then, so it looks like Caldwell might be able to get a run on him as we head down in towards the Ascari chicane for the final time there. Will Daruvala be able to keep the nose up the inside? No, he will not. Daruvala will back out of it. And can we try and get a run on the Prema car in towards the final corner of this sprint race there? He's going to be tucked up in the slipstream of Caldwell in front of him, but we are going to get a slightly better run there. Callum Williams is going to take the dub, and you know what? We might as well send it on Jan Daruvala in towards the final corner. It's a big, brave send. I mean, it doesn't account for anything, but we gain nothing by going for it. We gain nothing if we lost it either. They're out of the final corner. Unlucky for some, it's P13.
And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
It was a tough race at times, but they've held on to take a great victory for Trident today. Davide, what do you think made the difference here?
This race, this win, was about one thing and one thing only: consistency. Anyone can be quick for just one lap, but there's a difference between that and being quick every lap, over and over and over. If you can do that, if you can gain ground when your opponents make mistakes, but then not make mistakes on your own, you can just push and push.
Our drivers are making their way out for the podium celebrations, and it's going to be Trident picking up the winner's trophy. Congratulations to the entire team for coming out on top in that amazing race. So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. The gap at the top of the championship has been cut down after a difficult race for our championship leader. And now, Davide Valsecchi, let me ask you, who is your driver of the day?
Difficult call, but I'd like to say Theo Pourchaire. He's just so gifted at getting the most out of the tires, and he showed that today.
And here's how things are shaping up in the Teams' Championship. After all this drama, you'd be mad not to join us for the next race. We hope to see you then. Take care.
Well, there we are then, the end of the sprint race here from Monza, and probably the craziest sprint race we've had all year long there. The Temple of Speed always delivers chaos and confusion, and this one was certainly no different. But Callum Williams, he saw none of that. 5 seconds clear, come the checkered flag ahead of Felipe Drugovich, who does keep his championship hopes alive there. Lawson P3 ahead of Hauger, Vashor, Cordeal, Novalak and Armstrong rounds out our point scorers. Roy Nassar